Hello and welcome to today's class. In today's class, we'll be talking about data structures. And data structures are just a way of organizing your data for quick storage and retrieval. So there are several kinds of data structures in Python. And in today's class, we'll be looking at the list, right? So the list is a collection of various data in various data types. So in order to create a list in Python, let's jump straight to the Jupyter Notebook. Now, here in my Jupyter Notebook, to create a list, let's say I have a variable called list1. You must note that list itself is a reserved keyword in Python. So if you just type a list, you see it's painted green, meaning it's a reserved keyword. You cannot use that as a variable. So you would have to attach something to it. So let's say you have a list1. To create a list data structure out of this variable is simply to type the square braces and you have a list. Now a list item is separated using the comma. All right, you can have various data structures in here. Let's say 1, 2, 3. All right, these are integers. You can also have floating point numbers like 2.4, 2.5, right? These are floating point numbers. You can also have booleans in here, right? So booleans are true or false, right? True. Now note how the true is written. The first letter is in uppercase, right? Then the false is also a boolean, right? So now you can also have another list inside of this list you're creating, right? A list can have another list inside of it, right? So right now you have a list created, right? So what if I want to access individual elements inside of this list? Now, whenever you're dealing with an iterable, right, or a data structure, they are all assigned an index. An index is a position in which elements are stored inside of a data structure. So this data structure we've just created has index for every element we sent inside here. So an index starts at 0 in Python, right? So the first element here is at index 0, position 0, right? So if you need to access the first element, you just simply type out the name of the variable. Then similar to what we did with strings, and if you have not seen that video, I'd recommend you going to the previous class and watching that video. So similar to what we did, if you need to access the first element, you just simply type out the index of that element and it is going to be printed out. And if you need to access the last element, right, so you can simply count out the length of this list. This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if we say index 7, right, now index 7 is also another list, so the whole of that list is going to be returned, right? So if you say index 6 is going to return false because this is at index 6, right? Now there is another way of counting this. You can start counting from behind, right? Now the last element, which is another list, is also at index -1, right? The -1 simply means the first element behind, right? So the more you keep coming forward, the more this negative number increases. So the second to last element here is at index -2, right? Sorry, this is -2, right? So now you can also do a slicing in this list. you can slice. Let's say I need the first 3 elements, right? So I'll just call the name of I'll just call out the name of the list. Then I'll do a slicing on it similar to what we did with strings, and I need the first 3 elements, so I'm just going to start at index 0 up to 3. This is going to print out the first 3 elements in this list. This is 0, this is index 0, this is 1, this is 2, index 2, right? So this is the first 3 elements, right? 0, 1, 2, right? Now if I need to print the last 3 elements, I can simply count out all the elements up to the last 3, but since I'm starting from behind this time, I'm just going to simply do my count with a negative, right? The last 3. Now to slice up to the first element, you can simply do something like this, but it's not going to give you the last element, and I'll tell you why. See, it's just going to give you the true and the false, but this is the last element, which is another list, but it is not bringing it out. So this is because of indexing, right? It's just going to give you up to the last index, but not the last index, right? So if you need with the last index, you just say list 1, then do something like this. You say -3, then a semicolon. Now this simply means I want you to give me, starting from the last 3rd element, then everything that follows after. So this is going to give you the whole list, right? So if you need to do from the front this time, let's say we want to slice up from 3.4 up to false. Now 3.4 is at index what? 0, 1, 2, 3, right? This is at index 3. So we say up to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to index 6, right? So if we run this, it's going to start from here and up to this point, but not inclusive. So if we need that to be inclusive, just increase the number of the slice and you would have up to false, right? So what if I want from the 2.5 and everything that follows? It's similar to what we did with the negative sign here. You just call it out list 1, then 2.5 is at index what? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, index 4. Now up to everything that follows, right? You just simply put a semicolon and run that. Now it's going to start from there and every other thing that follows. So this is how to create list and to access individual elements inside of a list. So in the next class, we'll be talking about how to use some methods on a list. See you in the next class.